So you want to own a McDonald's. On paper, it looks like one of the safest bets in business. More than 44,000 restaurants worldwide, a Golden Arches logo almost everyone recognizes, and customers who already know the menu before they walk in. But getting through the door is the expensive part. A single location can require roughly $2.5 to $2.8 million upfront, and McDonald's may want to see $500,000 to $750,000 in liquid cash before taking you seriously. That is the first clue. This company is not just selling burgers, it is running one of the most powerful real estate machines in the world. McDonald's does not hand out restaurants to anyone with enough enthusiasm and a polished business plan. The company screens operators like financial partners, because a franchisee is not just buying a sign and a fryer. They are being trusted to run a high-volume asset inside one of the most controlled brands in the world. The first filter is cash, not wealth on paper, not home equity, not a retirement account, and not money promised by a lender. McDonald's wants unborrowed, accessible liquid capital. That means money you can actually deploy without selling your house, raiding long-term investments, or stacking debt on top of the deal. That is why the famous $45,000 franchise fee can be misleading. It is real, but it is only the visible entry ticket. Paying it does not build the restaurant, equip the kitchen, cover the opening costs, or satisfy the cash reserves McDonald's expects you to have before approval. In practice, the company is looking for people who can survive expensive construction, slow openings, payroll pressure, and unexpected repairs without collapsing financially. So if the fee is only $45,000, where do the millions actually go? Money starts disappearing long before the first customer pulls into the drive-thru. A new McDonald's needs an interior build-out that can handle constant traffic: counters, flooring, lighting, bathrooms, storage areas, crew stations, and the dining room layout. Then comes the kitchen, which is not just a grill and a fryer. It includes high-capacity cooking lines, refrigeration, freezers, beverage systems, prep tables, ventilation, safety systems, and equipment calibrated to McDonald's exact operating standards. Outside the building, the spending continues. The drive-thru needs menu boards, ordering speakers, payment windows, lane design, timers, cameras, and increasingly digital systems that connect to the restaurant's order flow. The signs, arches, exterior lighting, parking lot, landscaping, and seating package all add to the bill. Then there is the technology layer: registers, kitchen display screens, software, networking, security, mobile order integration, and back-office systems. Before opening day, the owner also has to stock inventory, hire and train employees, pay for uniforms, insurance, permits, inspections, utilities, local marketing, and other launch expenses. This is why the total can vary so widely. Building a restaurant from the ground up is usually the most expensive path, because the site, shell, utilities, and full construction package all have to be completed. A remodel can still cost a fortune if McDonald's requires major upgrades. Buying an existing restaurant may reduce construction risk, but the price can reflect its current sales, location, and future profit potential. And even after the doors open, the owner needs several months of operating capital. Payroll, food costs, repairs, and loan payments do not wait for the restaurant to become stable. So the upfront millions are not one big check. They are a stack of required investments, and the biggest twist is still ahead. After paying all of it, the franchisee usually does not own the land underneath the restaurant. McDonald's is not only selling burgers through franchisees. In many cases, it is also collecting rent from them. The basic setup is one of the most important parts of the business model. McDonald's corporate often controls the restaurant property, either by owning the land and building or by leasing the site from another landlord. Then it subleases that restaurant to the franchise operator. The person running the location may own the business, hire the staff, and manage the daily operation, but the real estate often stays under McDonald's control. That changes the economics completely. The franchisee is not just paying for food, labor, equipment, maintenance, insurance, and debt. They are also paying McDonald's for the right to operate inside that specific building, on that specific site, under that specific brand. On top of that rent, the operator pays ongoing fees. royalties. A McDonald's franchisee typically pays a royalty of about 4% of gross sales. They also contribute around 4% to advertising and marketing. Those percentages come off the top before the owner finds out what is left after payroll, food costs, utilities, repairs, and loan payments. Then comes rent, and rent can be the biggest surprise. It is often tied to sales, which means a stronger restaurant can owe more to corporate. Depending on the location and agreement, rent may consume roughly 8% to 18% of gross sales. For a high-volume store, that can become a massive monthly payment. This is why McDonald's real estate strategy matters so much. Corporate benefits from selling supplies, collecting royalties, and expanding the brand, but rent gives it another stream of income connected directly to the location itself. A great corner, a busy road, a strong drive-through, or a dense neighborhood does not only help the operator, it also strengthens the rent base for the system above them. So the franchise owner is chasing volume, because volume is how the restaurant survives. But every extra dollar of sales first runs through a structure of royalties, marketing contributions, and rent. The better the store performs, the more money flows upward before the owner keeps a dollar. A busy McDonald's can look like a gold mine from the outside. A high-performing restaurant might bring in around $4 million in annual sales, which sounds like the owner is sitting on a fortune. But that $4 million is not profit, it is the starting line. Before the owner keeps anything, a large share goes to food and packaging. Beef, chicken, potatoes, buns, cups, bags, sauces, and delivery costs all move with sales volume. If the store is packed all day, it is also burning through inventory all day. Then comes labor. Crew wages, manager salaries, payroll taxes, benefits, training, and overtime can take another major bite. A restaurant that stays open late, runs breakfast, handles delivery orders, and keeps a drive-through moving needs a lot of paid hours. After that, the bills keep stacking up. Utilities for grills, fryers, refrigeration, lighting, and heating, maintenance for broken equipment, insurance, credit card fees, waste, local compliance costs, then the franchise fees, royalties, advertising contributions, and rent. So that $4 million store can shrink quickly. If food and packaging take roughly $1,200,000, labor takes another $1 million, and occupancy, fees, utilities, repairs, insurance, and other operating costs take most of the rest, the owner is not choosing between $4 million and nothing. They are fighting for the slice left at the bottom. For many operators, that slice may be around 10% to 15% of sales after expenses, depending on the store, debt, rent, labor market, and local conditions. On $4 million of revenue, that could mean roughly $400,000 to $600,000 before considering every owner-specific financing reality. That is still serious money, but it changes the investment story. If buying and building into the system costs well over $1 million, and sometimes several million, even a strong annual profit can take years to pay back the original outlay. The headline sales number sells the dream. The margin decides whether the dream was worth the price. McDonald's does not want most franchisees treating the restaurant like a stock portfolio. The company's preferred model is the owner-operator, someone with money in the business, but also with their attention inside the business. That matters because a modern McDonald's is not one counter, one cash register, and a grill. A single lunch rush can involve a 2-lane drive-through, front counter orders, self-service kiosks, mobile app pickups, delivery couriers, curbside orders, and a kitchen trying to assemble all of it in the correct sequence. Every delay shows up in speed metrics. Every wrong bag becomes a refund, a complaint, or a bad review. The owner may not be flipping every burger, but they are responsible for the machine working. They need enough crew scheduled for breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, weekends, and call-outs. They need managers trained to handle cash, food safety, equipment checks, customer issues, and crew discipline. They need inventory ordered before the freezer runs short, but not so much that waste destroys the margin. Then there is turnover. Fast food restaurants constantly lose workers to school schedules, other jobs, burnout, transportation problems, and better pay somewhere else. That means the franchisee is always hiring, onboarding, retraining, and rebuilding the schedule. A good week can fall apart because two experienced employees quit and a shift manager calls in sick. Corporate standards add another layer. McDonald's can inspect cleanliness, food quality, service times, branding, uniforms, promotions, menu execution, and equipment procedures. The franchisee owns the restaurant, but the operating playbook is not optional. That is the trap in the investment pitch. You buy a business, but you also buy a job with corporate rules, customer pressure, labor problems, and daily execution risk. A McDonald's franchisee is an entrepreneur, but inside the system, they can also feel like the highest paid employee in the building. A McDonald's can still be a strong business for the right operator, enough capital, tight management, and patience. But the real product is not just burgers. It is brand power, operating control, and rent flowing through corporate real estate. Thanks for watching, and comment, would you still want to own one?